Good morning. We are in Hamburg today, the city of hamburgers. We've taken a very peculiar looking bus here. Now, to the extent of my knowledge, this bus was never used in Hamburg. This is mainly used in Berlin. It's a 1973 MAN SD77. Probably, well, it is the oldest bus in the game. I think this map is sort of set around the 1990s era. You're probably meant to use the 1993-1994 Hamburg city bus, but I thought it would be fun to take sort of a fictional, historic, nostalgia type of drive through Hamburg with this old bus from 1973. It's got a very charming looking interior, got the nice benches going on. Now, I haven't driven this bus in quite a while, so I don't quite remember how all of this works, but we'll figure it out as we go. It can't be that hard, right? Remove the steering wheel so we can see what we're doing. Turn on the electronics, you get the funny beep. Can't quite remember how this works, but I think if all of them are up, that means it's in neutral, I think. So we can probably go ahead and turn it on. Fires right up. I'm not gonna use this sort of IBIS system because it was built for the Berlin Spandau routes, so I'm just going to ignore it. It probably works for this map, but I'm not gonna bother. We got the window washers. Do we have any lighting? I think that's lighting. It's pretty bright outside, so we probably don't need it. 25 Celsius, it's a very warm day here, so we're probably going to open up some windows. I reckon we don't have air conditioning on this bus. Of course, OMSI being OMSI, everything is clickable, everything works, so we can open the windows. We can even open our driver's window. So the air pressure is slowly going up. While that is doing its thing, we can have a look at what route we're gonna do. So we got two routes here. We got the 109 and the 688. 688 is like the weekend evening route, kind of a shorter route, but it's a lot of fun. But we're gonna do the long 109 today. And we're gonna go from Hauptbahnhof Zob to Alsterdorf. We got one departing at 12:50, so we're gonna do that. We'll probably have to advance time a little bit. So I think we're actually kind of ready to set off. Just gonna get the handbrake off, figure out how the gearing works. I think that's just put it in gear. Yes, it's moving. And we're off. Gonna turn off the route indicator helper, because otherwise I'm going to get lost. We were quite lucky with these traffic lights. It doesn't seem like the traffic lights in this city has any sensor, because you always get stuck at them for like 500 hours, but today we're fine. And we have plenty of time. We're not supposed to depart from like 50 minutes or something, but we'll advance time when we get there. So, turning into the main bus depot of Hamburg, see if there are any passengers. We also have to set up the signage at the front of the bus so the passengers know where we're going. That could be of help. It's quite a nice looking bus depot, this. But it looks a bit empty. There are no buses here, but that's probably because I turned down AI traffic very low. It's a huge frame killer to have a bunch of AI bus traffic roaming around. Alright, let's see. I also found this very cute flower livery. Nice and orange. Let's see. To line 109 terminus, U Alsterdorf. Let's advance time. Let me double check. I think our departure was at 12:50. Yes, sir. We'll advance the time to 12:49 or something. Nobody's getting on worryingly though, but I think that's fine. Oh, maybe because I need to pull further ahead actually. Yep. Very picky, these passengers. Guten Tag, guten Tag. So we'll set off right away. We can go. We got a vertical line. Well, a horizontal line-ish, I should say. Can go right through here as well. It's very nice having a bus lane. The detail of this map is really quite good. I mean, just look at all these buildings. I mean, the textures are kind of shady, sure, but look at that advert over there. That's some good advertising. Should probably look where I'm going though, not at the adverts. Got some proper looking Germans getting on here. Moin moin. We're a bit early here actually, minus 1.9 minutes to departure. Anyone from Germany who sort of knows where this livery might have been taking reference from? I know those who made OMSI are very prone to detail, so I reckon this probably has a reference to something that I don't understand. Someone's money, I don't know. It's the coppers driving by. They know I'm not certified to really operate this bus, but that's fine. It probably pollutes more than 3 Titanics combined, but that's fine. We're on a nostalgia tour here. Alright, we're a few minutes early, but, well, a few seconds early. There's no one more here getting on, so we'll just set off. Now I reckon someone who's actually from Hamburg or who's spent significantly more time here would probably appreciate this map even more than me, but I've never been there, so I don't really understand or recognize most of these landmarks. But we got some beautiful looking church up ahead here, which I don't know what the real life equivalence of that would be, but there's a lot of historical looking sites around here. Moin moin. What are these adverts? Some shady looking beer advert here on the side in the bus stand. Ein Bier und ein kurzer. Feels like some pun or something, I don't know. We're 1 minute early, but there's no one here, so we'll set off. Those lazy bastards who are late will have to blame themselves. I think it's 25 kilometers per hour down this street, so I've probably been speeding a little bit, but no, that's fine. So now we're turning into Rathausmarkt, where line 688 starts from. It's quite a beautiful spot. You got these sort of large buildings. Got a lot of people going on. Perhaps it was a good thing we took the double-decker. All these fat Germans wouldn't fit otherwise. Let's have a look inside the bus, how it's filling up. I love that the characters actually kind of crouch down when they walk up the stairs. That's amazing devil to detail. Oh, that's so good. It's actually filling up quite nicely. I have actually wondered how in OMSI how the programming actually works, sort of the logic behind how the passengers pick a seat. Because it feels like the upper deck is a lot more filled than the lower deck. I wonder if kind of the passengers are like, you know, I want this upper deck for a nice view. And they're sort of more attractive seats, or if it's just kind of like, you know, every seat has an ID or something, and once they get on, they sort of randomly gets assigned an ID, and then they go to that seat. I don't know, but it's quite interesting. Because I think I've seen that the upper deck fills up a lot quicker, but I don't know what the logic is. But it's interesting nonetheless. But the best seat over here to the right at the front is not taking it. And here I am chit-chatting away, and now it's time to depart. I think we're taking a right here. Yes. Now this bus feels a bit fat for these sort of narrow streets. I think that's why they use the city bus, but we'll make do. Got a green light, nice. We've been quite lucky with the traffic lights. I just love the audio this bus makes when you're driving over sort of the cobbled streets. It's really good. Another green light, we've been very lucky. The Hamburg gods have been on our side today. That's the 688 stop, so we're stopping right up here. Hello, hello. Granny's out here for a power walk. She's really moving it. That's a disgusting looking color on the car in front, what the heck? I've never seen this at OMSI. Did something go wrong with the color encoding or something? I've never seen that. Hello, hello! Welcome aboard the 1973 double-decker. Make sure don't to breathe in all that pollution. This guy doesn't look very bothered. This van? Is this some sort of DHL ripoff? Or is that an actual German post brand? I don't know. We've got another bus lane, noise. Although I don't have the traffic turned on that high, because that will absolutely destroy your frame rates. I guess it's nice not having too much traffic. But I kind of feel like Hamburg midday should have a ton of traffic, right? Hello, hello. Stefansplatz. Wonder who Stefan is. Must have been pretty important if they named the bus stop after him. This bus stop on this image looks a lot nicer than this bus stop. You even got some ducks there. Alright, we'll set off. We got a vertical line, which means we can go through. So now the right two lanes have a red light, but I have a line which indicates that I can go straight on and then merge over. See, the Germans, they've thought about everything. Because otherwise it would be quite hard to cross two lanes from the bus lane to get over to this lane to continue right ahead. Is this? Yeah, it's an actual Shell gas station. I thought it would have been some like rename that kind of sounds like the real deal, but they actually got a Shell gas station in here. I have noticed there is a McDonald's too over at I think it's Altona has a McDonald's. Hallo, hallo, guten Tag. Look at the dude, he's actually like crouched over walking upstairs. It's so good. Bus is actually filling up, but there's no one downstairs, everyone's on the upper deck. Guess they want that good view. They're bored of riding all the single-decker Hamburg city buses. Now they want a proper bus. I hope that red car stays there, don't pull in front. The traffic has been behaving quite nicely today. I don't know what area this is supposed to represent in Hamburg, but it seems quite nice. Pull forward a bit here so to allow the back to swing in. Moin moin. Guten Tag. Wie geht's? I'm playing with a G920 that I recently bought. It's really nice. It's so relaxing just to sit and do some drives in OMSI. They really need sensors. They really need some sensors on these traffic lights. In the town where I live in Sweden now, they have like the tags in the buses, so whenever a bus approaches a red light it automatically turns green so that the bus never has to stop at a traffic light. It's a pretty good system because it enables them to keep a more consistent schedule, and the buses don't need to start and stop so much. They can sort of drive in a fluent motion. Although I have noticed the traffic lights can get a bit confused when the bus approaches traffic lights from like different junctions at the same time. They kind of don't know which bus to give priority, if you know what I mean. Hello, hello. These streets are quite narrow. I don't like when cars park in the street. It sort of reduces the width of the road quite a lot. I like when cities use this structure of the roads though, where they have the pavement and then they have a line of trees and then they have the road. It's not nice walking like, you know, directly next to the street. It's nice to have that sort of barriers and with trees in between. It just makes it a lot nicer to walk around. Guten Tag, moin moin. Well, you say morning to me, mister, but it's actually 1 PM. Did you just wake up? What's with these adverts? Is this some sort of like travel agency or something? Like cheap flights to Shanghai or something? I don't know. This advert is a bit on the low resolution side, so it's kind of hard to read. Whoa, did you notice that traffic light on the right there was floating? What the heck? Look back, it wasn't attached to anything. It was just floating midair. I'm worried that means OMSI is starting to run out of memory. That wouldn't be good. But we haven't even been driving for that long. I have noticed in OMSI, if you do like these longer journeys, which are 40 minutes to an hour, it's usually fine on the first drive, but once you do the return journey, things starts running out of memory. It's quite annoying. You could wonder why I still play this game, well, this simulator to be precise. But I feel like there's really no replacement. Nothing quite works like OMSI. I mean, sure, the textures are bad and it's unstable and it runs out of memory, but just the physics of the bus, especially driving in snow, you see the traction control working, the ABS system, just the audio of the buses, the details in the map, everything is clickable, everything works, it's just so good. The new bus simulators that released just all looks kind of terrible. They're quite clunky as well. I haven't made a very good job of stopping along the curb here, but this was decent. But I don't drive this bus that often, but I should. It's quite a fun bus to drive. These cars are parked like inside the trees and on the grass, did you notice? Here we got another car parked on the grass. That can't be legal, right? At least it wasn't parked inside the tree. Oh, can turn right here. I didn't see that small green light at first. Welcome aboard. Moin moin. This is quite a scenic looking stop across the river. It's kind of hard to point my camera this way, but you can kind of see that the map ends. Like if you follow this river here along the right, you can see that the map sort of ends up there. You just see the white texture of nothing. So that direction wasn't good to look, but this direction looks quite nice. The road over there looks nice, going next to the river. There's also nice properties as well next to the water. They actually got animations of the water as well. It's kind of flowing. That's nice. Haven't really been paying much attention to the speed limits. I've just been chit-chatting and driving. But considering we've been following the schedule pretty good, I think I've been keeping a decent pace. Guten Tag to you too, sir. I wonder what this sort of park area is. It just looks quite empty. Looks more like, you know, a prison garden than, you know, a park. I don't know, it's gonna just empty space. Not a lot of talking going on in my bus, and no one's sitting on their phones either. Everyone is just kind of awkwardly staring at each other. Oh, scumbag lights. But we've been pretty lucky with the traffic lights. You can get stuck at them for quite a long time. I wonder what this flashing light is. I mean, usually in towns like during night there's no point in having the traffic lights running, so they just sort of turn all the traffic lights to amber, which means, like, you know, use the road signs and proceed with caution. But I don't know what that light does now. I accidentally pressed something. There we go, now we can get going. Oh, look at this house. That's fancy. This bridge looks a bit low. Do we even fit under here? That's okay, that's pretty... That's quite a decent amount of space. I wonder what would actually happen if the bridge was too low. Like... It's collision physics with OMSI work with objects, I don't know. I would probably just have driven straight through it, to be honest. Whoa, 3 of the same cars on the right there. Let's see, the clock is 20 past 1. What's our last stop? Oh, so we're there in 6 minutes time. Not too far out. I was just gonna say, this traffic light can be brutal. You can get stuck here for like 10 minutes, but we were very lucky today. Because that red light can smash your schedule to pieces. Very colorful looking store at the left there. Although the store does look a bit tired. It's seen better days. I almost drove straight into the curb while chit-chatting about the store. It's a dangerous job being a bus driver. Got a lot of lives on board. This bus stop is a bit tricky. Kind of have to swing forward quite a bit to get the back of the bus to swing in. Moin moin. We're a little bit early, but I was gonna say we'll set off, but the light was red anyway. Excuse me, this doesn't look like social distancing. You two are very close to each other, breathing down each other's neck. Oh come on, why is this light red? There's no one here. Thank you. I have managed to achieve a pretty decent frame rate here in Hamburg. It's sitting at 30 quite steadily, which is about the best you're ever gonna get out of OMSI. But you know, at 30 FPS it's perfectly playable. It's when it starts getting down at 20 it gets a bit annoying. But I have noticed there's an option that you can enable that is like, instead of loading the map in chunks, you load the entire map when you fire up the game. Which, you know, it takes like 20 minutes to load up the game. But you don't get that sort of stutter as it loads the next sector, so you know, if you're gonna be playing for a while, it's definitely worth it. There's also an option for reduced multi-threading, which you can have a look at. That's quite a big impact. Otherwise, AI bus traffic is a big FPS killer, and I don't really think it, you know, I'd rather have it pretty low or turned off and have a decent frame rate. Will not stop for that light. Can't be many stops left now. We're not too far out. Now this bus stop is extremely weird, and I'll explain to you in a minute why. Just let these passengers get on. Door please. There we go. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I remember, but look how close this bus stop is to the road. If you want to sort of get into this bus stop, you almost have to step out into the road, especially if you're coming from this direction, but it's a bit strange. But it wasn't as bad as I remembered. I think I remember there's a bus stop that's almost like out in the road. Got another nice picture here. I don't know why, but this reminds me of Mafia 2. You know, Vito's house along the water. You know, his like back garden almost looks like this. It's quite reminiscent. And you see the skyscrapers of Empire Bay in the background. Oh, we're 1.5 minutes late. I was thinking about something else. And the light just turned red as well. Damn it. I wonder if that's passengers that got off my bus. I think it is. It's quite cool, you know, once they get off they don't just despawn, they kind of roam around the city. It's quite nice. Accidentally pressed the wrong button again. That's not good. Got another low bridge, but I assume we can fit under here. Yeah, no worries. Hello. Let the passengers sit down. And it will set off while the light is green. Another fancy looking house here. There's no one getting on here, but there's a few people getting on. It's very calm around here. There's no people. Maybe the great plague of 2020 took its toll on the people here. No one getting on, but a few people getting off. Guess that's because we're nearing the end of our journey here. Now it kind of feels like we're out in the more residential areas. Got a lot of houses here. We started off sort of more city center at the main bus depot and at Rathausmarkt. It's quite a nice journey this. I think 40 minutes is a pretty nice journey. Oh, come on bro, why is this light red? Thank you. Now this isn't the stop for us, so we carry through. And here we are. This is the last stop. Let's look at our time report here. I think we did pretty good. I mean, I was a little bit early on some stops. That's, it wasn't too bad, but it felt, boring for the video's sake to stand around waiting at stops. So we were a little early in the beginning here, but that's fine. We were a little bit late here. I don't know, I was perhaps chit-chatting away at this point, but it's pretty decent. No one really bothers if a bus is, 1 minute late. And you need to be over 3 minutes late for OMSI to log you as late. So I call this journey a success. It was quite a nice drive. We didn't see too much trolling, we didn't run out of memory. It's a pretty good route. It's a very enjoyable bus to drive this. Alright, I will turn the bus off. And I will thank you for tagging along on this great journey with 1973 MAN SD77 on a historical journey through Hamburg.